Welcome back via Zoom to the July edition of What's Up Stratford. Joining me is Mark Harapiak, and actually we're going to see the same set in the background. Mark, why is that with Blythe?
Blythe and I are married, and we live in the same place.
There you go. That's a perfect. So we weren't sure if it was just a Zoom backdrop or not. Mark, you grew up in Manitoba. Tell us about how that led you to. I believe you went to the University of Manitoba and also did some ballet. So go ahead.
As a child, I did a lot of Ukrainian dancing. That was part of my upbringing. So I spent a lot of time in church basements dancing and singing, and through that, there's a lot of ballet influence in Ukrainian dancing. So I ended up auditioning for and getting into the professional division with Royal Winnipeg Ballet. And then after that, I actually spent a year in Ukraine, in Kiev, dancing with the Ukraine State Dance Ensemble.
Wow, what an incredible privilege as well, especially under the issues that are going in conflict today.
Yeah,
Mark, you've obviously have an extensive background. You also sing, but let's talk about Stratford Festival first, and then we'll jump into what you're doing now. So tell us some of the fun things that you did at the Stratford Festival that were memorable.
My first year was '94, and that was Pirates of Penzance under Brian McDonald. So I came in that year, and I spent the next 6 years at the festival. So that's when I really sort of started. So I was very, very fortunate out of the gate just to have that kind of a string of shows. Yeah, it was amazing, and a lot of Brian McDonald shows, big musicals. I did Richard Minette's Camelot. I also did Man of La Mancha with Susan Schulman. So, and primarily as an ensemble dancer in those years.
Wow. So now that we're in July of 2023, what are you working on at Drayton?
Right now I'm working on Rock of Ages. It's a show that we did actually back in 2017, and it was supposed to come back in 2020, but everything got shut down because of the pandemic. So we're luckily going to revisit it now.
So why would they bring a production back 3 years later? Was it that successful that they?
It was.
Oh,
yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And then are you, in terms of other things that are doing on your acting, what else comes to mind?
Well, after that, I have a small break, and then I'm doing a show called Bitter Girl at the St. Jacob's Country, at the schoolhouse, sorry, St. Jacob's Schoolhouse. And that's from October till December 24th. And that's a small four-hander musical comedy about breaking up.
I guess a question asked for all actors, because 2024, you're obviously working on things or looking at things that will be even next year. Is it that forward thinking that you're doing productions now, but also looking in the future?
Absolutely. I mean, sometimes your years are mapped out for you pretty far in advance. And oftentimes, like now, I have a few irons in the fire, as they say, but after December 24th, I don't really have anything concrete laid out. But I'm grateful to be working, frankly, till Christmas. That's no small feat in our business.
No, I know in your business, it's really tricky. So when you spent 3 years in the US, what did you do down there?
I was in the first national tour of Mary Poppins, the Broadway tour, with Blythe, which was great fun. She played Mrs. Banks, and I played Park Keeper, Von Hustler, a few small roles, but I covered Mr. Banks. So many times we got to go on together as Mr. and Mrs. Banks in that production. And I worked at Gulf Shore Playhouse. I did a play down there. And then again, Blythe and we worked together at Connecticut Rep, and we did Spelling Bee down there.
Yes, I saw that, the 25th anniversary or whatever they call that.
Yeah.
So I guess lastly, just in terms of the most fun production that you think that you've done and that's memorable to you, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Well, I mean, I just mentioned it, but Mary Poppins was pretty incredible. Not only was the show top notch, but Blythe and I got to do it together. So we were in, you name it, Boston, Washington, San Diego, all over the place, LA. And we usually sit down for a good 6-8 weeks in each spot. So we got to explore these cities, and we got to do it together. So that was a pretty incredible experience.
Mark, thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for sharing your incredible, exciting career and all the travels be way beyond Stratford. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter.
Coming up next is Heidi Culleton from the Stratford Perth Community Foundation.